Devin Haney putting pressure on the WBC. Let's talk about it.
Push the weight and no flex. Alive is 1 in the 6. With the runner, boy, you nigga, no question. You will run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm an 88 pack nigga. I'm an 88 pack nigga. I mean, day walker, drink blood, fangs out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe, nigga. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
Drew Titan Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. I mean, I don't even know how else to put this. I don't want to make this any more technical than it needs to be. I try to keep it so simple so that people can understand it. If you want numbers and technicalities and all this other stuff, there's a lot of other great channels you can go to. If you want a detailed backstory and you want to discuss numbers and pull out your calculator, if that's your thing, be my guest. But if you want me to keep it simple, you stay right here. This is a tweet by Devin the Dream Haney. WBC, moral. If my belt is the junior, make me the mandatory for the real one. Unless you've been living on the moon, you know exactly what he means. You know exactly what he's talking about. Fairly recently, Mauricio Suleiman did an interview, and he was talking about the ridicule pretty much not only him, but his family has gotten over the years, over the past few decades of boxing, how his father had tomatoes thrown at him for changing the rounds from 15 to 12, and how people don't like change and how we need to get accustomed to change, and that the franchise status is a part of change that we need to just accept and get used to. But there's a problem. When you pick and choose who you gift that status to, and you push it off as a real belt, there lies the problem. The other sanctioning bodies do not recognize that franchise status as for real. You say things like, you know, we respect Devin Haney and what he's accomplished, but he's chronically disrespected. Why aren't you coming to the defense of Devin Haney? He is chronically referred to as an email champion. Let me ask you a question, Mauricio. When Vasily Lomachenko requested the franchise status rather than defend his real WBC strap against Devin Haney, when he requested it, was it by email or a phone call, a text? And then how did you get it to him? The actual gold belt. How'd you get it to him? Mail? Did he have to sign off on some documents or what? How'd that happen? Mauricio, why aren't you holding Vasily Lomachenko accountable? I've said my ideas on what the franchise status should have been. It should have been a tournament. And the winner of the tournament gets to fight whoever is the WBC champion. If you want to do that, and you give that person a special status to go up and down the weight and do whatever the heck he wants to do. But you respect Devin Haney. How could I believe what you say when I see what you do? All of this confusement is your fault, my man. It's your fault. But confusement and contradictions is something you've grown accustomed to doing. And no one's holding your feet to the flame. In fact, when people ask you questions, you accuse them of screaming at you and being ignorant. And you fling insults at the very people that purchase your product. Unfair treatment is something you're quite good at. But you feel you have more than enough people that it's benefiting, and it overlaps the people that have questions. Which is why Tyson Fury gets away with what he gets away with. And by the way, I just heard today that he's vacating your belt. Because you're now in court with, guess who? Dillian White. More on that tomorrow. You called us stupid, the supporters of the sport. All we said was look at the gloves. When it got back to you, we're just stupid, and we're trying to ruin a historic night of boxing. But when it came to that Japanese fighter, Togo versus Labarabi, and it came to your attention that there may have been some foul play with the gloves, those gloves was on your desk. Remember that? What about Alejandro Jimenez versus Freyshawn Cruz Dezern? All we asked was she tested? And you said, yo, y'all are bullying her because she's gay. No, she looks like a man. Come to find out, guess what? But what did you tell us before? I've watched her grow. She's a wonderful woman. She has a child. And you called us stupid. Well, how'd that work out? So, investigating Tyson Fury and finding out something would have been all you could stand, because it turns out the people that purchase your product and support your product, we were right. Well, I, for one, am not happy. I'm a consumer and I'm not happy. You've been effing up for years now. And this Devin Haney nonsense is the last straw. You see the tweet, enough is enough. I've never seen, well, let me retract that. I was about to say, I've never seen a champion have to go and look for smoke. But we just went through that with Deontay Wilder, didn't we? We just went through that. How can a 10-title defending world champion with the worst skill set in the world, he has to go out and look for smoke? Well, enter Devin Haney. Lomachenko's on this pedestal, but he ducked Devin. That's the truth. You said nothing. You embraced the fact that he requested a franchise status. A man that lost his second pro fight. A man that's been dropped in the fight. And don't look now, the franchise status wasn't supposed to be transferable. You give it to Lomachenko, he fights Teofimo Lopez, he loses it, and now it's transferable. My God, what's happening, Mauricio? And then you call this the Pride belt? What is that? I've never heard that before. The Pride belt, the Pride champion? Why aren't you putting Devin Haney on this pedestal and forcing for undisputed? Is George Kambosos undisputed? Did he request the franchise status, or did he just beat Teofimo Lopez and you just handed him all the belts that came with it and he just pimped off in New York? Did he request it? I haven't seen anything. Let us know. The treatment for Devin Haney is disgusting. The franchise status is disgusting. Is it just given, or do you have to ask for it? Because the first one we've ever seen was who? Canelo Alvarez. Do we need to go there? Who's up next? Jamal Charlo. No, it's not. Why? Franchise status. Here, take this belt, Jamal. What? And then a bunch of fans will run around and say, well, Jamal only beat Canelo for it. Yeah, because Canelo refused to fight him. It's okay. Is it really? Oh, well, he ran up and he beat Kovalev, and he beat Yildirim, and he beat all these other guys. But he didn't beat Jamal. That's what I'm saying. Oh, well, he beat Kovalev. He would have beat Jamal. You can't say that. Roy Jones Jr., shout out to him. He just got inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame. He went up and fought John Ruiz, a heavyweight. One of his best performances. Went back down to light heavyweight and had all the trouble in the world with Antonio Tarver. They fought 3 times. Tarver beat him twice. And I keep sticking to this point. If Roy Jones retired after John Ruiz, it would have been an argument right now, 20 years later. Antonio Tarver would have been running around saying, I'd have beat Roy, and we'd have been looking at him, nah, we think you're crazy. That's Superman. But they never fought. But they did fight in the perfect world. You don't know what would happen if Jamal Charlo fought Canelo Alvarez. We don't know. What I do know is when it came time for him to fight him, he ducked him. That's what I know. How could I believe what you say when I see what you do? Then he's popping dirty for drugs. Mauricio. Clenbuterol, this amount of clenbuterol is all right. So if it's found at this level again, he's okay. Oscar Valdez. A and B samples, dirty. Mauricio says, hey, man, that's equivalent to four Red Bulls. He could fight. This is who Devin Haney's tweeting. Lomachenko, it's your turn to fight Devin Haney. Not so fast. Let me holler at Mauricio. Can I get one of those franchise statuses? Yes. This is all the WBC that I'm mentioning. Where's the lie? And what's crazy is there's enough fans that'll look over this stuff because it so happens to be fighters that they root for. And if you could just root for this erratic, ridiculous, unfair behavior, you're not a fan. You're just an a-hole. This is why Devin's a star. I don't care what you say, Lomachenko ducked him. I don't care what you say, Teofimo, who beat Lomachenko, ducked Devin. George Kambosos, please speak up. You say you wanted to smoke. Be a man of your word. Don't play into this WBC trap. We're holding you to your word now. We've given you a lot of credit. Keep your word, man. Bad business by the WBC. Bad. So I'm wondering, is he going to respond to Devin Haney? Because it's a shame that he has to go through all of this. And you know what? This is why Undisputed needs to happen for the greater good, because I hope Devin, listen, and no shade to George Kambosos, but I ride with Devin Haney. Hopefully he can win. And once he does it, he can just say, yo, look, I have it, and I'm good. I throw that WBC thing in the trash. Boxing is messed up and as confusing as it is. That's why Mauricio Sulaiman gets nervous and he contradicts himself with every interview when he talks about this franchise status. Everyone knows it doesn't make sense. But if it's around the waist of your favorite fighter for whatever reason, you're cool with it. But we all know the truth. It's a goddamn duck belt. I'm not on Twitter, but I'm looking forward to seeing what Mauricio Sulaiman says. Salute to Devin Haney. Salute to Trill Bill. Bronx on deck. Move!